Language you don't usually hear on television. Millwall, in London's Docklands.
Lockdown represents all in Millwall, ain't no breeze, but we'll all stand strong behind our team. No one likes us, but we don't care. We're that Millwall podcast. Loud every Friday night right here. Legends like Jimmy Abdul take a share of the kitchen or two. Super Neil Harris, a fucking legend too. Through the good times when there's life, we support the Lions all our life. This ain't no place for fancy team. This is fucking Millwall through and through. Located on our very own John Benning's way. Let them all come, let them have their say. Millwall till we die, that's the Lions way.
Good evening, welcome to another edition of That Millwall podcast. This is Sunday night live. It's pretty much the debrief show after the Saturday game. So yesterday we were away in Swansea for the last game of the season, which we won 1-0 and ended the season. If only we could have started the season like that, it would have been so much fucking better. But anyway, joined by the one and only Stephen. Good evening, fella. How are you? You good?
Yeah, good, Mickey. Good, and hope all the chat's well after a good end to the season for the Lions yesterday. As Mickey said, this is an opportunity to go through it all. I've seen a couple of comments regarding Bromley. We will touch on them a little bit later. No, we will touch on them a little bit later.
Don't give a fuck.
No, we will. Oh, we will.
Don't give a fuck.
That's not what you said earlier.
No, I said we'll put it on there that Webster thingy, but that's it only because it's common. But realistically, I don't know, mate, because it's, what's that? Gonna love you and leave you because the Grand Prix on. Let's go Lando. Okay, thanks. Look, right, I think it's great that they've got there, but yes, it's great that we had two Millwall players playing in the final. Mm-hmm. We had two youngsters playing in the final, but it means now you've got to find another non-league club to be able to go watch football while you can drink a beer, because now they're in the Football League setup. There is no more drinking beer in view of the pitch. So, yeah.
No, I know, but from a club perspective, from a Millwall point of view, we're gonna, what's gonna happen. We're gonna send some of these youngsters, and they're gonna be getting league football because Dunny and that will look after them. So, from a Millwall point of view, getting them into League Two, I think it's a great thing because that we'll be able to send some of the kids there.
Hopefully, because we don't fucking send them anywhere else.
No, I know, but the thing is that we're one of the topics that we've spoke about on this show over the last month is the academy and getting youngsters into the first team and getting some experience. So if we've now got an easy option on our door to send them into playing league football, I think it's a good thing for us. Obviously great for Bromley as a football club. Good luck to them, all that jazz. But for us, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, congratulations. But it means now that if you want to go drink beer while watching football, you now can't go to Bromley. So there we go. So, yeah, looks like planning is getting granted for the regeneration. Nope. Planning hasn't even started yet. So, yeah, the planning hasn't started. All what's being agreed at the moment with Lewisham Council is the lease. Once that lease has been agreed, then there'll be some term meetings and stuff. You've probably got about another 6 to 8 months worth of other meetings and Lewisham agreeing to different bits. And then once that's all in place, and then the club will be putting planning in and everything else. But at the moment, they've not done that. So, yeah.
I think it's important though. It's important about the lease. If you can get the lease sorted, if that can be agreed, then you can at least start to make some plans and move forward. Without the lease, you can't do anything. So,
well, hopefully that gets, or the beginning part of it gets signed off on Wednesday, and it's taken a while because we started AMS 10 years ago in February, and then it was probably about a year in where we suddenly switched and went full on. Where we went full on against Lewisham and renewal. So yeah, that, and then what? Kavanagh's been what there 6 years, 7 years. So and then when he come in, then there was better communication between us. But yeah, when Ambler was there, he never spoke to me. Ambler has never spoken to me once, and I pissed him. He got even more pissed off with us when we first started AMS. There was me, Paul Turner, and that, and we had a meeting where we got to see JB, but the earliest we could see him was the end of season dinner. So I think it was like, I don't know, 2017 or so, 2014. Yeah, the end of 2014-15 season, I think it was. And basically he said, look, we have an end of season dinner at the hotel where he stays, which was Duke's in St. James's behind the Ritz. It's a little tiny boutique hotel there. Anyway, he said, yeah, we're coming there. And if anyone's ever been there, or if not, just Google it. It's basically ham. It's very prim and proper, like the cocktails. There's no like measuring plug. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a big fucking chunk of spirit, and there's a little bit of something, and they're all made right in front of you. The geezer comes around with ice bottles and all this, and they're all made in front of you. And JB used to drink passion fruit vodka and passion fruit. And the vodka was, I can't think, it weren't like Smirnoff and all that. It was like, you know, Polish vodka and all this. Anyway, we were drinking them, and I was drinking them with him, and he was going, oh, do you want another one? Do you want another one? And I always remember that he sort of afterwards, he sort of said to me, he said, you got me into trouble that day because I was quite half cut by the time we went into the dinner with all the directors, and we were just sitting there fucking drinking these. It was mad. It was like fresh passion fruit, like scraped up, put into a bowl with a load of vodka, and done. So yeah, it was great. So yeah, good times, and yeah, I'm glad I've done them there and whatnot. But it's a very prestigious place there, but it's expensive. It's about, you're talking probably 25 quid a drink, but you are talking big mixtures. You wouldn't really want to be doing more than two, and I think me and JB done a lot more than two. So yeah, it was good fun. So yeah. Yesterday's game then, few controversial moments, I suppose, to a degree. Tanganga's getting punched in the face and sort of retaliating, but not. Hopefully they'll appeal that decision and they get it over. But
if you watch it back though, it looks like the chat are talking about it now. If you watch it back, the full clip, he throws a bit of a left arm at Yates.
I think he grabbed him and he sort of pushed him away, but I don't think he pinned him.
No, but the way that it looks like he is trying to kind of go in with his left elbow, and you know, obviously Tanganga might not be a Millwall player, but I don't think it'd be overturned. Yates's was far worse. You can clearly see him go to throw a punch at Tanganga.
He did throw a punch. I think he just moved,
but it just, as someone in the chat says, that's the way to end a loan spell at Millwall Football Club, isn't it? Getting sent off for having a fight in a game that means nothing when there's 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. Oh look, that's Ben's burner. So yeah, no, I think it was just, you know, arm in the face is all it takes. Yeah. If he's not coming to us, then would you bother to appeal? I don't know. You know, I mean, I out of all the loanee ones and whatnot, he is the only one I'd think that there's a strong possibility.
And Longman
interested. Yeah,
Longman as well.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely Longman. Yeah. But I think he's definitely one to hope. I would take him because it makes sense. Like we said the other night, it makes sense for him to come here for another season, build on getting first team football every game, and then he'll be in a better place come the end of the season for going back to Tottenham or possibly getting a move somewhere else and all that. And just quickly before we go on, can we laugh at West Ham? That was a fucking great, you know, they got spanked today, didn't they? So
Chelsea, wasn't it? Yeah. They were 3-0 down really early as well, weren't they? I think. Yeah. I think with Tanganga, yes,
the line that carries over, it's basically it's a 3-game ban next season.
Yeah.
Start of next season, it'll be a 3-game thingy.
So with Tanganga, if you sign him, you aren't going to have, unless it gets overturned, you would lose him for a couple of games. But that, in the grand scheme of things, you'd still want to try and sign him. That's not really important. I just think with him he is one, English tax. English tax is the in football. If you're an English player, you're worth more money. He's young. He's played in the Champions League. He's played in the Premier League. If there's an opportunity to sign him permanently, I think it's a no-brainer because you could probably make more money on him. It's just whether or not you could get his wages agreed, because I think that's going to be the problem.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. As for Obafemi or Nisbet, got no idea what the discipline are in, no doubt. I don't really want to go into speculation or anything else because there's so many rumours flying around. I think it's probably best for us that we don't go into speculation. But I think it will be what will be, and it will come out soon enough.
What I would say,
that's it.
What I would say, and again, we don't know anything. We don't know what's been said, what's been done. We don't know the reason why. Obafemi is not our player, so Burnley can deal with whatever issues, or if there is whatever it is, that's fine. They can deal with it. Kevin Nisbet, if he's done anything that's going to damage his reputation or damage his chances of playing for the football club, it's one of the worst decisions or one of the worst things he could have done professionally, because he's not really set the world alight. It's not like someone's going to pick him up and go, oh, he's got 20 goals, we'll take a chance on him. That's a problem, because Harris was probably thinking, we've got 2 strikers, we'll have to sign at least another one. If there is a problem with Nisbet, whatever it might be, we might now have to take a loss, ship him back to Scotland and look for another player. But again, we don't know that we might be.
I mean, it was quite weird because, it seemed as if there was possibly something happening with Obafemi, because, I mean, a Burnley lad was saying that they were probably looking to get rid of him anyway. They were possibly looking to get rid. And now all of a sudden, Dan Marsh's quote come out where Neil said, we're no longer following up.
No,
looking at him.
We were offered it. Apparently, we were offered him though, weren't we? Burnley. There was a tweet that come out that said that Millwall kind of had sort of a first refusal, and we'd said no. So,
but there is a lot about bad attitude and all this and all that. But again, it's all speculation. So yeah, Danny Mac. We are the Danny Mac fan club, and we have always had faith in Danny Mac. And yesterday, he just proved us right and Stephen wrong.
I don't think I've been wrong over the course of the season when I was saying how bad McNamara was. He's been very good in the last few months, but at that time he wasn't. So that he is somebody much like Jake Cooper, who's played much better in recent weeks than what he was previously.
There was weird comment, wasn't there? What we were told, what come out of that players allegedly were telling fans at the end of the season that Cooper is basically the first man on the team sheet, week in, week out, and undroppable, which is really weird that we just either have no fucking clue what goes on at our club, or we are just, he has got naked pictures of the board and Harris. I've got no idea, but there's something not right there at all, is there?
Well, Jake Cooper, if he's got a decent partner next to him, like he had with Hutchinson for 3 or 4 years, and now he seems to have found with Tanganga, Jake Cooper looks a decent defender. We'll come on to the game yesterday, because what he was doing for their penalty, I have no idea. But when he's got a decent partner next to him, Jake Cooper is a very good defender in this division. He has been poor this year, but for the players to talk about him that much, I know they're obviously not going to turn around and go to say to fans, are they? Oh, he's terrible, he needs to be dropped. They're not going to do that.
But to talk
about him,
fully agree with that comment. Stephen's just a Savile man. You see, that's the problem.
It's right. I'm not being funny, but there's a narrative with Danny McNamara. Billy Mitchell's the same. Just because they're Millwall boys doesn't mean that they're above criticism. If you were to look at some of the performances, and other players fall into that category, Savile has had bad games, Casper's had bad games, but people don't like to admit it, that when a Millwall boy has a bad game, that he's above criticism. Danny would be the first to say it. But if you was to
I don't think it's that. It's like what I said before. I think the problem is that this last season, with Rowett, what he was doing and the club doing, where they threw him in front of the fans to basically try and make him stand up and get listened to and bullied him to a degree, which was fucking downright outrageous to a degree because he couldn't come back. And I think that's where we got with it, because if they hadn't, we wouldn't have had the Boo Boys going after him as bad. But the problem is that it was led to be that he isn't signing a contract. He's holding back on the contract when he isn't. And yet it was basically the club were trying to do other things. And then when he didn't want to play ball to, like, instantly, they then put a story in the paper. And, you know, with Richard Cowley. And then you get Rowett coming out going, oh, you know, until he decides what he's doing, then I'm not going to play him, which, you know, I just don't actually think is fair to the player, especially when you have no right to reply. If he could have had the right to reply, then great, you know, you can go out and do that. But when you're not having an option because the club controls that side of the media, then that's the problem. That's the problem I have. I think he's been very harshly done with this season, which probably rocked his confidence to the core. And Rowett was just a fucking idiot, you know, with dropping him and stuff. And also loads of other bits and pieces with him and other players. What, you know, there's been rumours about with different things with backroom staff and stuff. I think now he's playing football. Since Neil's been here, he's playing football. He's got someone who he can play with and he gets right into it. And now we're seeing the Danny Mac of what we know and are used to.
I get that, and the issue with the contract is out of order. You can't, if you throw players under the bus and they can't reply, then obviously. But I'm sure if you was to ask Danny McNamara, or if you was to look at there's people that agree, people that disagree. That's what football is. It's a game of opinions. There was a spell of games that McNamara was playing where he wasn't up to the standard that was required, and that's why Ryan Leonard, when Ryan Leonard was then fully fit, played at right back. Yes, okay, Leonard's had an outstanding season, so he's kept the spot. But since Harris has come in, and again, Harris dropped McNamara for that mistake at Blackburn. He was ruthless with that. You know, he had a couple of good games before that, and then went, right, you're out, and it was only from an injury. But for the last month or so, Danny McNamara has been excellent at left back. Really, really good. And I'll take my hat off. He's been a lot better than what I thought he was going to be. But I do think that there are certain players that people don't like to give criticism to. And whilst I would always say, and I did the same with Fleming, I give Fleming a real hard time over the winter, saying he's looking for a move, he's not interested, he's not good enough. For a spell after that, even during the transfer window and after, Fleming has worked so hard for this team that it's a little bit of humble pie. If we see the Danny Mac over the last month, for going into next season, yes, give him the chance to play at left back, but he has to find that consistency moving forward.
I think he will if you play him in the positions what he feels comfortable in and stop playing him as a fucking winger, what, you know, Rowett used to do. Then I think that he is a defender at heart. He plays that style and he can do that thing. There's a couple of comments in there. I mean, Tunbridge MSC says, you know, Danny Mac and Billy get too much stick because obviously they've come through the academy and it's easy to blame the local lads, which I agree with because they're supposed to already know what it is to be Millwall and all that. But again, if you're playing in the wrong position or anything else, then, you know, you're there. Where is it? Cole says, you said about Super Neil Harris should not get the Millwall job next season. Wrong. Danny Mac is a fantastic player. Billy Mitchell, fantastic player. I think they've both come on bounds. Hang on one sec. What I said is about Neil Harris is that Neil Harris coming in, I would have said was more of a business decision, like I said, rather than a like this is the future position. But in the last 12 games, we've seen a different. We were all working on the old Neil Harris and the fact that Neil Harris was a Division 2 manager or a Division 1 and obviously coming back into the Championship. Yes, he's played a certain style to keep us up, but what he's done is nothing short of miracle over the last 12 games. And the fact that he's pretty much made us finish second only to Ipswich, which if he'd have done that all season, we'd be looking at going up. So on that basis, I would say that Neil pretty much has got, has earned the chance to have a go next season. Do I think he's going to be here all season? I don't know. Who will come in and replace him? I don't know, but I think he's earned his replace.
Also on that, I don't think, Carl, I don't know who you were referring to, whether it was me or Mickey. I don't think I ever went on record to say that I don't think Neil Harris should have the job next season. I had reservations over Neil Harris having the job next season. And I think that if you was to ask the majority of the fan base, they would all have said the same thing, because you don't know what to expect. We had gone through the spell at Rotherham and Huddersfield, losing 2 games that we shouldn't have lost, and it was looking pretty bad. Let's be honest. But Harris is, he's worked miracles with his team. He's worked miracles with the squad. He's, as Mickey just said, he's got us second in the form table since he's been at the club, behind a team that's been promoted. Of course, he's earned the right to get the job. Neil Harris is my era. Everyone has their era. People, you're in the Cripps era, you're in the Cascarino and Sheringham era, you're in the Cahill era, you're in the Harris era, the Morrison, however old you are, however long you've been following the club. So I think Harris has certainly earned the job. Talking about the players, Billy Mitchell and Danny McNamara, maybe they do get more stick, maybe they get less. I don't know. But as I say, if a player plays well in a Millwall shirt, then we'll tell them that they played well. If we don't think that a player's played well in a Millwall shirt, then we tell them that we don't think that they played very well in different words.
I agree with what you're saying, and I think the problem is that we don't realise what goes on. We look at every Saturday, for instance, and I know we played midweek, but I'm saying Saturday. We look at every Saturday and go, "Oh, well, the players are playing shit." But there's a comment in there that says, "Mickey, you're so right. Managers don't want to talk to you. It's hard to go out and perform. Trust me, Mickey, you're going down the right line." And that's the problem. How hard is it that, if your boss don't want to talk to you, or they're not talking to you about stuff, and you don't know whether or not you're in the starting 11 or anything else. I mean, I don't know if that is what it is. I've heard different rumours from places that's happened to certain players, especially when Evans was there, that sometimes he didn't even know until we come on the pitch on a Saturday morning and then gets told, "Oh, you're not playing today." You're sort of like, it must rock your confidence, and just, "Oh, by the way, you're playing right wing today." Do you know what I mean? And you're like looking at it going, "Fuck, man, we're right back. Why am I playing right wing?" And I think that's why, just if you look at all the players, these are the same players we've had all season. Under Rowett, they've not performed. Under Edwards, they've not performed. Under Barrett, they've not performed. Under Neil Harris, we've seen different players who've been shit most of the season fucking perform out of their skin. The last 12 games, some of those players have performed out of their skin.
Oh, absolutely. But this is what we've had this conversation so many times, and I understand there's different opinions and different sides to this, to what people see and what people think. But Harris has come in and he said to the players, "Right, this is your job. This is what you're going to do." The biggest example, and I will challenge anybody in the chat to disagree with this, and that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Ryan Longman, for 6 to 8 months, was absolutely slagged off by this fan base. Everybody was like, "Send him back. He's no good. League One Longman." I'd been the same. The guy from Hull come on our show and said, we're surprised he come to a championship club. We're surprised that that Millwall took a chance on him. We thought he'd end up in the league below, etc. The last month, Neil Harris has asked him to play as an out-and-out winger, and he has looked $1 million. It's a simple game at Millwall. It's a simple game under Neil Harris, and that's it might not work every week, but you get players playing in their right positions or what they're good at doing, and it becomes a slightly different game and an easier game. And now we're all saying we're all turning around going, Ryan Longman needs to be signed. We've got to bring him in. We've got to bring him in. I guarantee you, after the Huddersfield game, it would have been sack him off and get someone else in. It's just how football works. Sometimes players have good spells. Sometimes players have bad spells, and it depends on it depends on what side of the coin you're on, whether whether you're in the good books or not.
100%, 100%. You know, and yeah, I mean, I just think that Harris brings a whole new offer to the club. I just, you know, I think he's just brought to the players. He's just revitalised them. He's just literally reinvigorated them, reinvited them. You know, just basically made them want to do thingy, wants to play. So yeah, there's a comment there that says, Stephen, I would love to have a meeting with you and explain a few things to you about Danny so you can understand. Yeah, no worries, mate. Get in touch and we made that happen. So yes,
that's and this is the thing. And to be clear to anybody, it doesn't matter who you are. If in my opinion, and as a fan, if I think players have a good game, I will say they've had a good game. If players have had a bad game, in my opinion, I will say the same thing. Off the field stuff, you don't know what goes on. I can't comment on that. I only see what the 11 put out. In the last 6 games, maybe 7, Danny McNamara has been excellent, but there have been times this season where he hasn't been up to that standard. And whether people want to accept it or not, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're bad. If you were good all the time, you'd be in Man City's team competing for the Premier League title. If you're 50-50, you play at clubs like Millwall. That's just how it is.
I mean, there was a couple of things there. There a couple of comments in there. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Paul.
Yeah, happy birthday
good luck,
for
mate.
tomorrow,
Happy
mate.
birthday for Paul. I'll come back to there. There we go. Question is, do we keep Danny left back and get rid of Coffee Bryan? Danny's been brilliant the last 7-8 games. And is Danny a long-term option at left back now? Because there's another comment further down, which is quite accolade to a degree. I don't think it is. I don't think it's necessarily comparing the players, but he says about Dawes was a left back, right footed, and yeah, is that an option? Because obviously you've got the benefit of being able to turn on players.
Again, I think Neil Harris would rather have a left-footed left back. Personally, I think he was kind of shoehorned into McNamara in the position that Joe Bryan is so unreliable with his injury record, and Murray Wallace has also struggled obviously with his injuries. Turns out it was a great inspired move. I think it would be harsh going into next, unless we was to sign. I actually think it was my dad who commented to say that Neil Harris was actually at the Oxford v Peterborough play. He left Swansea yesterday to go to that playoff, the first leg in the playoff. And Peterborough's player of the season, I think he's a young player of the season in League One, is their left back. He's got lots of goals, lots of assists. Now, putting two and two together, if we sign a real superstar left back, then obviously he's going to play. But I think it would be really unfair to drop Danny after recent performances going into next season. But it's what Harris wants. Is he happy having a right-footed left back? Would he want a left-footed? Who knows? But I think it's a good option to have. I mean, let's face it. If your 2 options at right back next year are Danny McNamara and Ryan Leonard, you don't need to go and buy another right back. You're safe as houses out there. If Danny McNamara's, sorry, go on.
No, just like Archie C. He says, football is simple game is complicated by idiots. Trying to get Jake Cooper and Murray Wallace to play ticky-tacky football is never going to work. Trying to get McNamara to play wing-back won't work. Which is true. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Edwards come into the football club and he tried to turn a team of, let's be honest, giants and lumpet players into playing like Barcelona from the early 2000s. It was never going to work. Someone said, I saw a tweet it might have been before or after the game yesterday, and said that we went through a spell where we were saying we played 20 minutes of the best football we'd seen Millwall play on 4, 5, 6 occasions. But then for 70 minutes of the games, we were conceding 3 goals and looking absolutely woeful. You can't always, I know that they're saying, teach a dog old tricks. You can do it to a certain extent, but you can't just change everything. And Harris has gone, no, we're not doing that anymore. We're going to keep it simple, and it's brought rewards. There was also a comment Dan
Danny
Riggs
Mack played. Andrew Roberts just put Danny Mack played well as a centre half for a few games. Give him a go out there and save the club a few bob.
He did in a 3 though. He played as the right centre back in a 3. In a 2, I don't see. I think you might need to have that physical presence. I mean, people have said about Tanganga not being, as physically strong, and he is, more of a centre half than what Danny is. I think in a back 5, you could get away with McNamara as a third centre back. I think in a back 4, you've got to play him on the right or the left. There was a comment, and Dan, I'm gonna obviously long-term listener. I'm going to try and
do that. I've just had a text from someone who will remain anonymous because obviously I'm not going to give my source, but basically they're saying allegedly Nesbitt and Obafemi, it's down to lateness in training, and Obafemi allegedly has had multiple latenesses in training, and that's there. I don't know if it comes out and it's down as lateness, then we know that my source is good. If it ain't, then
delete his number. So Dave, thank you very much. I didn't see that comment. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Dan Riggs, Bradshaw hasn't been up to it all season. No one hates on him. Missed another sitter yesterday, but no one says fuck all. So in our group chat, we'd like to wind up young Ben because Ben is the Bradshaw super fan. But Bradshaw does get pelters. He's not against criticism. He's not a championship reliable striker. He's had a flash in the pan season. As a squad player, I think he's absolutely fine, but we cannot go into next season with Tom Bradshaw as our number 9. It won't work. It will never work. So I do understand, Dan, what you're saying, that there's less criticism on Bradshaw's shoulders. I think that he does work incredibly hard, and he's asked to do a role that's just not really what he wants to do. He wants a partner. He wants to be on the end of chances. But I agree that he hasn't had a good season. He's only had one prolific season at this level, and we probably need to be aiming at better to get ourselves up the table next season.
Richard Lacey says, why did he play Danny at left back and not Leno?
Ryan Leonard's had the season of his life, mate. I mean, he's been.
But he's left-footed, though, isn't he?
No, he's right-footed.
Right-footed.
He's had the season of his life, mate. You're not going to. Harris has called him the best right back in the division. He's not going to take him out and switch him over to the left.
Get that. This is probably comment of the evening. Edwards tried to make Trotter's reliable freewheeler into a Ferrari. Yeah. That's probably comment of the season, to be fair. But yeah, and MTAM13 says on his day, Danny Mack is the best one-on-one defender in the league, and I have to pretty much say I agree. I think if you play Danny as a defender, there ain't many people who is fucking on him. Like, he's a little pit bull. He's fucking on him. I mean, look at yesterday. He got a booking for it, but he took one for the club.
I would say that both McNamara and Leonard, both of them, one-on-one, are excellent. They are very, very good defensively one-on-one, and not many wingers get much change out of them. At any level, whether you're at the top of the championship or the bottom. So I would say, the key, and I don't want to keep talking about McNamara and Mitchell and players like that, but the key thing in that sentence, and it applies to every single one of our players on his day.
Yeah.
Mason Bennett, but before, just on the subject, Mason Bennett was really good. But he was made of glass, and then the next week you wouldn't know he was on the pitch. Duncan Watmore, the same thing. It's always on his day. That's the problem with some of our players.
Michael Dunn, this is what makes a good podcast and why we love this game. We all have different opinions on everything. And the thing is,
I agree 100%.
Is that we air our opinions and allow you to air your opinions and bring them in and out and everything else. The reason we're not putting comments up all the time is because, one, for people who are commenting, it's not necessarily fair if you're only getting them through. And also, I've been told off quite a few times from people who listen to us as a podcast that you basically don't know what we're talking about if we don't read the comments out. And there is no way that some days we have 400, 500, 600 comments, and it's bad enough that I've got to sit there talking for 2 hours or so, let alone making 600 comments as well. What you're putting in, so it is a done. Tony Jones says when Dawes was playing, we had Carr and O'Callaghan to cross the ball. Very, very true.
And that's the other thing as well, isn't it? If with our fullbacks, if you've got wingers like a Longman and you get someone the other side, you could potentially then look at having, just defenders that defend. I know that sounds stupid, but if they're asked to get forward, then you need to have a bit more quality on the ball.
Yeah, Nesbitt not liked by the fans until he gets a run of goals. He's very laid back. I agree with that. Now, Dan Riggs, look, I didn't think you meant us, but I understand. But there are some love fest. If a player does stuff for the fans or is quite friendly towards the fans, then certain members of the fan base seem to have a love fest with him. To me, it's all about on the pitch, and not saying that he hasn't had great games for us. But games when we need him, he doesn't seem to perform. When you look at, games like at Watford where, he scored 3 goals in the first 35 minutes, yet we're probably never going to see that again. So, that's it. That's probably the comment. Bradshaw gets away with it just because he tries hard, but that is not enough. Absolutely not enough. Christopher Ballard, who would you like to see? We'll come back to that in a bit. Actually,
there's a comment.
Now, there's a few people commenting on it now. So,
yeah,
who would you like to see up front next season if you could get a striker for anything you want? If we had the expense to pay for it, who would you want in? Get your comments in the chat now. Also, while you're in the chat, will you just press like? Because there's loads of you in there. In the chat on YouTube, not you guys on Twitter, unless you want to come over to YouTube. But all of you in there's over 130 of you on YouTube at the minute, and only 25 of you have pressed liked. So come on, we're here for 2 hours talking bollocks. All you're doing is watching, making the tea, walking around the house, avoiding the missus, avoiding the kids. So the least you can do is just press the like button. Hopefully you're subscribed, but if you're not, press that too. Then there we go. So Dan Riggs says Longstaff. Dave Turner says, is that Smodix?
Yeah, but someone's just put Sammy Smodix is going to go for 20 million this up. The clubs in the Premier League want him. He's been the top scorer in the Championship. It'd be great to sign him, but that's not going to happen.
Look, there's another great comment. Mickey, your opinion doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, mate. From day one this season, from last season, I have stuck solid with Danny Mack, where the rest of you have done, and he's repaid my faith in him. So there you go. That's it. That's all. That's it. I don't care. Don't care what you say. He's repaid my faith, and I've just renewed my season ticket to the Danny Mack fan club for next season.
On the subject of who we want up front, if we could sign anybody, obviously within reason and budget. And I know his goal record, and people are going to go, he's just someone that doesn't score many goals. However, I thought the guy that scored for Cardiff against us in the 3-1 a couple of weeks ago, Mate, the big guy who scored the header, I thought he looked quite good. Mobile, big. He fits the profile of being able to hold the ball up, but actually be able to move. A bit like similar to like a Steve Morrison type, a bit bigger, but could actually run. I thought he looked quite good. I would have loved us to have gone after that. I said it before, Armstrong from QPR, but now they've stayed up. I think he's likely to stay there. But again, a big physical striker that can run. You gotta find question. Need to rephrase the question. Who would you like up front, and who could we get? His worlds apart. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying. We'd turn around and go, right, we'll have Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, and I don't know, someone else from the Premier League. But there's gems that play at other clubs. I think you're looking at if you're looking at the clubs that went down, obviously you might not want their forwards, but there's attacking players in there. So Huddersfield have got Sorba Thomas, Radoni in midfield, who I think is going to be popular.
Yeah.
They're the sort of players, they're still good enough for this level. They just were in bad teams. So I think you've got to be looking around. You've got to be looking around,
Archie, you're
like
correct. He was at the Den for Plymouth. And he is Fleming's mate, and his contract is up. And there is speculation that possibly, but I don't know. So yeah, mate, that's that. Peter Sullivan, you are a piss take on 99% of the time with your YouTube, with your Photoshop images and all of that stuff on Paint Shop Pro and that. But that can't be true, can it? That really? That's madness if that's true. But hey ho. Still, if he does come to us, then he'll have an exclusive interview on there. So there you go. I think Harry's core group had down tools under Joe Edwards as they thought they were out. Harris has probably said, keep us up and you will get a new deal. I reckon you're probably
possibly
right there. So yeah.
Possibly. I mean, look, when it's appearance based, that makes it quite tricky because obviously if managers are not picking players, then that also comes into it. Alex has just put in the chat that I don't know if that's the correct spelling, but that Ugbo, who's from Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield.
Yeah, he does look quite good, and if he's only on loan there, that definitely, I like the look of him as well.
Oh, that's mate. The comments, we are getting comments of the season today. So Jonathan Fraser says, can we please get Joe to infiltrate Smoddy's dad? That would be.
Can we clip this? We got to clip this.
Yeah, I think Joe's listening. To be fair, I think he probably is. He's watching Married at First Sight or whatever it's called, mate. So he's probably watching this with an ear pod. So yeah, heard from a good source, Division 1 striker, done deal. Terry Thomas. I know that name. So
I mean, that could turn out to be Isaac Alafi now because Stockport have been promoted into League One and we could have reactivated the buyback clause. I'm just, it could be anyone. But again, League One, I know people might dismiss it, but that's how we're going to get somewhere. Yeah, that's how we're going to get somewhere. You're going to buy someone who's been playing in a good team in League One that don't make it and turn them into a Championship player. Again, Ipswich have done some great business this year, but they'll have players that may become available. So again, another one.
Tyrese Campbell, released by Stoke. I think Aldo signed him before.
It's an Aldo signing though, isn't it? I think we were linked with him before. I'm pretty sure we were linked with him before, but I don't know. Look, I think it's really difficult. Who knows? Who knows what we want? Harris is going to have an idea and budget and stuff, and I'm sure over the summer that a lot of the rumours will come through. But at least we know Harris has come out and said we need better attacking players at this football club. We all know it. It's now going to find who these people are. That's the $1 million question.
Is the Rotherham, because this was in the chat earlier, so I'll figure because you said no, but do we need the Rotherham keeper, or are you quite happy with our one we've got?
The Rotherham goalkeeper is absolutely superb. He is. They would have been even worse without him. He's absolutely superb. And he is available for under £1 million because it's part of his contract that if they got relegated, that he would go. I think he will go for around 900,000. Problem is, Sheffield United wanted to sign him last summer, and they were quoted like millions and millions of pounds. They're coming down into the Championship. I think he's going to end up there. On the subject of moving to our goalkeeper, we're going to need another one. Connell Truman is just not good enough. Bart's leaving the club. Matty Sarkic, and I've said this for the last few weeks, Matty Sarkic is a good goalkeeper. He's 26 years old, so he's not in his prime for a keeper. Yes, he's made some mistakes, but he's also made some excellent saves, during the course of the season. Yeah. I had a look up a couple of bits and pieces. He has a higher clean sheet percentage, so in comparison from appearances and clean sheets. He's got a higher percentage of clean sheets than Ipswich's goalkeeper, who's played pretty much all season for them. Leicester's goalkeeper, both teams that have been promoted. He's also higher than Norwich's keeper, Southampton's keeper, who have made the top 6. There's a goalkeeper in there. And I know goalkeepers union, but Bart put on his Instagram that the club are in safe hands with Mati Sarkic. The fans love Bart. They trusted him. They had a lot of time for him. He's not an idiot. He can see in training. And I would say to our fans and people talking about the Rotherham goalkeeper and buying another goalkeeper, Mati Sarkic will be an excellent goalkeeper for this football club. You just have to stick with him. And he saved a penalty yesterday that just shows the confidence is flowing with him.
Yeah. Hughesy says, any idea who Harris was watching in the Oxford versus Peterborough game? Hopefully it's the Borough left back. I don't know.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying. The left back was their player of the season.
Alex S says, I think Harris will want a big man up front. Urbu or Meti fit that bill unless Kiefer Moore finally comes. I can't see Kiefer Moore coming.
No, he doesn't want to play for us. Jamal Lowe.
He might do now that Harris is here, but I can't see it.
Jamal Lowe and Kiefer Moore will be linked with this football club every transfer window until both of them retire. They don't want to play for us. Just leave it alone. Just move on to someone else. It adds clickbait to another website, doesn't it? That's all it does.
Dan Riggs has got a point. Isn't the clean sheet record down to the defence as well? Yes, and Danny Mac.
It is. It's not just the goalkeeper, but what I'm saying is that if you look at we'll take the Leicester goalkeeper. Okay, they had a bit of a bip in form. I would wager a bet that Mati Sarkic has faced a lot more shots on goal than what the Leicester keeper has. Yeah. And the Ipswich goal, or maybe not Ipswich because they're attacking football, but he would have faced a lot more shots than what the Leicester goalkeeper has. So there is the defence side to it, but I think Sarkic is a good goalkeeper and he will become a better goalkeeper. We just have to stick with him. And David's just put in a comment. Sorry, I've just seen it on Sarkic. At the start of the season, Rowett and Joe Edwards seemingly were asking the goalkeeper to come out and punch everything. And he was missing it and he was flapping at it and mistakes were happening. Harris has said to him, no, you're not doing that anymore. Come out and catch it. And since he started to come out and catch the ball, he's just looked a better keeper. So stick with him, guys. Honestly, yeah. I'm going to be Mickey's got the Danny McNamara fan club on the go. I think from this summer onwards, I'll be starting the Mati Sarkic fan club because I genuinely think he's going to be a top goalkeeper for us.
Mate, Moore was seen down the old Kent Road. How the fucking hell do you know?
Oh, yeah.
You're in New Zealand. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm into the prize draw for the Danny Mac shirt. Do you know what I mean? A match-worn shirt. So we're waiting to see whether or not I'm lucky or not. So, yeah.
And I think Kiefer Moore probably would have been in Ipswich celebrating the fact that they got promoted to the Premier League. I don't think he was on the old Kent Road.
I also think that Ipswich would probably sign him, to be fair, and give him one last to do in the Prem.
Yeah, I think so. He clearly not wanted at Bournemouth, so why not?
So, before we go into the what do you call it, because it's just there where Craig just said Sarkic has saved us at least 5 points from his 2 penalty saves against Birmingham and Swansea and his save of the season against Southampton, agree. But isn't it absolutely karma that Birmingham sack Husted and Husted then relegates Birmingham by keeping Blackburn up? Because yesterday, coming towards the end, it was didn't Rowett look gutted? Well, there ain't a lot more you can do when as long as you win, it's in other hands. And what you could have done is won more games. And the
last day of the championship yesterday was incredible because there was 5 teams at the bottom of the league that a lot of them had tricky games, and pretty much all of them, apart from Huddersfield, won. Even Rotherham managed to win on the final day of the season. So Birmingham and Gary Rowett play League One football. There were a couple of, I remember when do you remember I put it on the chat where Gary Rowett posted where he was on a beach somewhere talking about his run in the sun, and it was after Millwall had been beaten, and I think Joe Edwards had been sacked, and he had a couple of comments on Sky, and look, I have nothing. Gary Rowett's a nice enough bloke. I don't have any issues with him on a personal level, but he made some digs about the club. He was reveling in the fact that we were struggling on a couple of games on Sky. Well, you reap what you sow, because now you've got a relegation on your CV, and Birmingham with their Tom Brady and their superstar £1 million, stadium and all this, that, and the other. Well, you can enjoy it in League One.
It was brilliant though that Rowett goes down and Joe Edwards scores from Plymouth.
Yeah, I saw that. I know, obviously, it's not the Joe Edwards, but it's just ironic, isn't it? That a player called...
Oh, Craig's just said it as well. Look.
Yeah, that Joe Edwards scored for Plymouth. But look, I tweeted the other day, anyone that follows me, I said, I remember, I can picture in my head the goal that Stern John scored at the Den that stopped us getting to the playoff final, and we would have beat Norwich. I'm convinced we would have beat Norwich that year. Stern John, I picture it. So all those years ago, we finally a little bit of justice. Yeah, they're gone. Get rid of them.
And the right as well. So yeah. Joseph says Swansea old Bill will bang out of order. That's the Welsh old Bill for you. Dave Clark thought we were excellent second half. Should we talk about Swansea? Anyone want to talk about Swansea yesterday? I mean, I don't know. We started talking and then we went. So the way Birmingham treated Rowett, I'm surprised he went back.
I was quite surprised as well. But he wanted closer to home.
Probably the wages helped as well. Do you know what I mean?
The wages and the fact that he's closer to home. That's what he wanted. That's what he always wanted. It was always about his family. And I can understand the family side of things. But yeah, he, couldn't happen to a nicer club. And Rowett has got a clean sheet. A relegation on his CV.
My German Shepherd is dreaming, and she's laying in front of the door asleep, and she's like as if she's running, and she just keeps like, but she's fast asleep. I know she's looking at me now as if to say, "You can't stop talking about me." So yeah.
On the subject of talking about the keeper and talking about Swansea yesterday, John just texted me to say 12 clean sheets in 32. That's what I'm saying. His percentage of clean sheets is very, very high. However, the penalty yesterday, I think it was a comfortable height for Sarkic, but you've still got to save them. However, I did have a look. Millwall have given away the most penalties in the Championship this season, believe it or not. So we've conceded the most across the division. 6 of them have been scored against us. 2 have been missed. Obviously, referenced earlier that Sarkic had saved both of them. Something that we're going to have to, I think, have a look at next season. You can't be at the top for conceding too many penalties. You can't keep making mistakes in your own box and relying on your goalkeeper. Yesterday, Sarkic bailed them out in a game that didn't really mean anything, but you might get to a game next season that means an awful lot. And if you're giving away too many penalties, that needs to be tightened up. And what Jake Cooper was doing for the tackle, I have no idea.
I've got no idea. Do you reckon Joe was on the phone to Casper's dad?
Absolutely.
Do you reckon Joe can speak Flemish now?
Well, he does something to get around all the dads, doesn't he?
No comment.
No, I was pleased for Casper. It was a good goal. He took it really, really well.
Wipe your lip, Joe.
He took it really, really well, right in front of the Millwall supporters as well, which was excellent for them. Really good celebrations. I think Casper would probably be someone. I don't know if you saw his Millwall TV interview after with Sarkic, and I'm sure some of the guys in the chat will. He was asked a question about his first season in English football and his first season being a Millwall player. And the look on his face, you could tell he didn't really want to answer the question because he's been frustrated. He's not played enough. He's had injuries, and he was honest. And he said that there's a lot more to come. I think I'm one that does think he's a better player than what we've seen so far this season. And hopefully this will see him kickstart. But really, really pleased to see him get
There's another comment. There's a lot of Millwall supporters that think Gary Rowett was a good manager. He wasn't. Sure they'd been sacked a long time ago. I think he should have been. I mean, I was told by someone the last couple of weeks who will remain completely nameless, but I was told that allegedly he's a prick at the highest degree. But, not my words, but yeah, because obviously I have invited you to do a show with us, Gary, and you said you couldn't do it at the moment due to legal complications, but obviously you're a Birmingham manager now, so more than free to come on, bring your mate with you, but do be warned that we will ask some difficult questions maybe.
There's a couple of comments from Dan Riggs and London Lion, and I know they're joking, but this is something I was going to mention as well. Dan Riggs, from next season, can we have a swear box every time that Gary's name is said, £1 a time, and all that?
I won't be mentioning his fucking name anymore, mate.
Well, this is what I was getting to. And so,
I'm allowed to mention it this season because we've had 4 managers. Birmingham's had 4 managers too. It's just that our 4th manager kept us up. Their 4th manager, our 1st manager, fucking took them down. So, hey ho!
It's £10 if you mention Joe Edwards, according to London Lion. But from the end of this season, we've got to come away.
London Lion, that's a
next season.
Oh, next season. Okay.
But we've got to stop with the Gary Rowett. Stop with the Gary Rowett, Joe Edwards talk. This season, we've had 4. You're right. We've had 4 managers. It's important to have the comparison and talk about it. But as a club, we've got to move on from it. And next season, it's Neil Harris. He's going to be in charge, and we've got to move forward. This season's done now. It's been up and down. It's been it's been a really strange year. But we can't keep talking about Gary Rowett anymore. He's taken Birmingham down.
Birmingham said they won't. Birmingham said they won't keep him, but he's only there as a temporary, and he's fucking screwed Tony Mowbray over.
It's Tony Mowbray, isn't it? Yeah. Good luck, Tony. You're in League One now.
Yeah, Tony's got health issues, and Birmingham bring in someone. I mean, to be fair, Birmingham should have brought in Neil Warnock. Really, they would have probably survived. You know what I mean? But hey ho. Hopefully, this nice end to the season. Is a bookend to the worst 12 months this club has had in a while. Blackburn, JB, Rowett, Edwards. We can now move on from it all. I'm optimistic now under Neil. So am I.
And that's what I'm saying. This year, it's done. We've got over it. We're now full steam ahead for the summer transfer window and what next season brings.
Is that what they call it in Belgium? Is it, Tony? Thanks for that. I didn't know the word in Flemish, but I understand now. Thanks, mate. So yeah. A monkey, if someone says Gary steadied the ship after Harry is left.
We'll have to write all these quotes down over the summer, and if anybody says anything on there, there's got to be some kind of forfeit or something.
Just while we're here, quickly before we move on, because we will move on. We've got some other points, and we just seem to be going into just a chat show in a minute. But yeah. Next Friday and Sunday. So next Friday, we're going to do the end of season awards, and we're going to basically tell you what the categories are. And hopefully between now and then, we'll be able to work out some form of how you can vote. And then on the Friday, you will then make sure to vote, or the Thursday we'll put it out maybe. Then make sure that you will get an opportunity to vote for your players. And we'll open the categories, tell you who we believe are in there. Then you vote for them. And then on the Sunday night live, we will do basically like the Oscars. We will announce the categories and the winners. So if look out Friday, look out Sunday, and that will be our end of show. And it'll be your turns to be able to really make your votes counted. So, they won't be, like best player of the year and all that. We'll have biggest fucking wanker of the year or, things like that. So there'll be our usual style of different categories. And then, we'll go. So that'll be next Friday. And then next Sunday will be the results show where you will get your chance to see who you voted for and whether or not they won.
much like the Oscars, where everyone wants it's Best Picture, isn't it? Everyone wants to win Best Picture and Best Actor. For the that Millwall Podcast Awards, it'll be the Plymouth Away Award. That we think that Dan Sexton is likely to win, but that could change with the voting this week. But yeah, we'll sort all that out in the week.
We'll also have your best presenter for the season or your best newcomer, because there's a couple. Because Dan's come this season, isn't he? Dan's come this season, and Jay's come this season.
Was Dan the end of last year? I think Dan was the end of last year because he did a Who Are You with me. I think Dan was the end of last year. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyone that mentions
Gary,
banned. Just for the benefit of those listening on a podcast, because we are conscious that you don't see the comments. Anyone that mentioned, what was that? Sorry, can you put that back up on the screen?
It says anyone who mentions Gary Rowett has to wear Stephen's kids' West Ham United shirt.
Mickey's kids' West Ham.
They're not
United
West Ham,
shirt.
by the way. They're Millwall. But yeah, there was a fraudulent slip the other day. So,
you said it. You said it, and everyone's picked up on it, and you can't get away with it.
Can I just say, right, that I could have edited that out quite happily, but I didn't. And that's just, it was if you listen to the whole conversation, it was basically obvious that I meant to say Millwall, but it said there for whatever reason, and it went. So yeah, can we vote for best presenter? Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
But obviously, Chaps has his own show, so the only other person who's been on Chaps' show is Joe. So there'll be one for them, and then us. So we're
going to have.
Who are you?
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Wait. We're going to have an end of season awards for the best presenter of Chat with Chaps, and it's Chaps that does every single one of them.
Who are you?
I've tied that one up there, didn't I?
No, they'll be best presenter across the lot. So
yeah.
Any news on main sponsor? No, not the club. I've got no idea. I really don't have any idea. There was loads of rumour going around that the people who suddenly appeared on the end of season dinner that are they it? But if you look into them, I don't know if they've got the financial clout to be putting £500,000 a year into the club. But we'll be waiting to see. Any idea? Any news on the training ground? All I know is that it's in Kent. But other than that, yeah, Alan Campbell. Alan Campbell has to be the signing of the season, doesn't he? It's been fantastic.
World Book Day. Something to do with World Book Day. Oh dear. What we'll do with the awards, we'll get them out early enough so we can.
Will Chaps be wearing his Prada tie? That is a question. As long as Mickey or Stephen don't open the envelope and give it out the wrong player award, no fuck ups now, lad. No, that would be thingy. And we might even wear a suit for next week, a shirt and tie for next week, okay, just to make it all, glamour and bit of glamour and blitz.
Class to the proceedings.
No, that's it. And maybe I'll get these done. Look, we can get these. That's what we should. We can have those done for
and then the name,
best player, best player.
The name, yeah.
That's it. Will the voting go? Fuck off. There we go. Look. I'm voting Joe Edwards as our worst manager ever. His fan club can stick that in their pipe and smoke it. LeBlanc says, will we be voting? Will the voting go for Uncle Fester or Claire in shorts?
We're going to end up next week. The next Sunday's show is going to end up being about 4 hours long because we're going to have about 50 awards that come out of this.
I think I with you, Richard. That is who my money's on. That's
for the benefit of the people listening on the podcast. It's the Wiggins group.
Yeah. That would be mine. Yes, that is in there, 100%. Dan, and but not on us, on you lot. So the ones of you who we know, then maybe we need to decide who your lookalike is, as you've been so mean to us all season. So yeah. If Jay's on, Jay will be on probably because he's back. So yeah, that'll be a 7-hour show.
So hold on a minute. What do we get? Oh, sorry, I've jumped ahead of you. Go on.
As long as Stephen wears his shorts.
So shirt and tie and shorts. That's the mantra for the awards. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
Will we be doing? What is it? What do you get in between the awards being dished out? Will some of you be singing or doing any musical numbers?
Mickey's going to be singing our new theme song that he apparently recorded himself. So you'll get that rendition. But now we'll think of something. We'll with the categories, we'll be able to talk about them. And what we'll do, we'll put together some options so we can talk about each of the options and then name the winner. So there'll be stuff to talk about in between each of them.
Yeah, that's it. I think we should look at we should get some little trophies made up for the players. Do you know what I mean? And then find them, give them to Dan Riggs to go present, and then record. That'd be that there. That we'd have to find someone who can can't accept it. So yeah, that'd be great. If Jay wins his acceptance speech, will be 7 hours. The presenters should do the balloon dance. Yeah, you're on your own there, mate. Stephen probably doesn't really understand what the balloon dance is.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it, but
Google it. I can't think who it was. Was it Morecambe and Wise? I think it was Morecambe and Wise, actually. I'm not 100%. I can't remember who done it now. But yeah, earplugs. Ready then? Yeah, I'm not singing. Fair play, Mickey. He said it and owned it. Slip of the tongue, but funny. Yeah, it was. But if you listen to the whole conversation, I said the West Ham fan was proper pissed. And if my kids were wearing West Ham shirts, he wouldn't be pissed, would he? So yeah. Endurance award goes to Stephen for driving to Huddersfield. I think Omar might get a prize, because I think he's been to the most home and away games this season, hasn't he?
I think he's just topped me, which is a shame. But yeah, I think he going to couple of the last couple that I never was able to. I think he done me there.
Breast kebab, chili sauce and salad.
Oh dear.
Get Ben in a yellow leather jacket in a white vest doing radio.
That's brilliant. So, I don't think you did the show. Someone said that Ben looked like Freddie Mercury, and it just went on and on and on. That was so good, so good. Oh dear. But no, we'll see if we can get a few of us on next week to do it. Like it'd be cool to try and get a few of us on. We'll do our best, guys, to make it.
Oh, Big E don't miss a trick, does he? Big E says, for giving the idea for that Millwall podcast show in the season award.
Can I have enough?
Yeah, I don't know if you did, to be fair, because we've been talking about it for a little while, but we'll let you have that one. Can he have a non-payment sponsor for the event? Was it Hood Soldier
wear?
Yeah. If you want anything with it, Big E, put your clothing brand in the chat if you want. Put the website in the chat, mate. Big E.
Will they block it though?
Range. No.
Will they block it or?
I don't think so. If it does block it, then just send it to me by WhatsApp and I can post it in there. So that's fine. Ben, Captain Scarlet, can we have an award for the nearest number guess on how many times Joe has dropped? He knows Casper Dad. Closest guess gets a prize. As long as you don't.
If that person can go through every one of our videos this year and see how many times that Joe's mentioned it, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So yeah, bit of a random one. After watching the Swansea highlights with my son, he asked why no one likes us, as he doesn't understand why we are hated. I gave a child-friendly answer, but what would you say?
If we're going child friendly, I would say that we are one of the only remaining old school football clubs, and the establishment don't like it. Personally.
Do you know why we're saying it? It started in the 70s when we were being hounded by the government, the media, and everyone else. and then they started singing "No One Likes Us, We Don't Care" as a stand-up to the establishment, and that's what it was. So it was more to do with the 70s and the 80s stuff. So yeah, so that's where it come from. Same with the monk chant. I call it the monk chant. You call it the monk chant. But I was having an argument with someone on YouTube the other day who was making comments, who was going, "It's called the war chant," and I'm going, "It fucking ain't called the war chant. It's called the war chant." I said it's called the monk chant. It's as simple as that. It's that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's that horrible noise what just pisses everyone off. So yeah, it's all good. So yeah. Won't Stephen get the most miles to the gallon driving award?
Possibly.
Mickey to win best hair award.
It sounds a really good idea, but when you realise just some of the stuff that's going to come through with this, you think, "Oh God, what are we doing?"
Mickey, Phil Mitchell. Forget balloon dance. You two could do Stavros Flatley and Son. Do you know I did Stavros Flatley? I done that dance with him. We went.
You're opening your stuff out, mate.
No, we did. We went to. Where did we go? I think we went to Pontins or somewhere with the kids a couple of years ago, and my kids when they were little would always try and get me up on stage to do something, and yeah, got me picked up, and I fucking ended up doing the dance with them. So yeah, that was with
guys in the
Stavros
chat. Just I'm just gonna put this out there that. Just to make sure that I've got. Hold on. Whoa.
That is a prize.
We're currently showing at 2.72k subscribers. Mickey might be able to give me an exact figure on that. And on this current video, we have 66 likes. If we can get that the likes up to say
100.
I was going to give you a bit more. I was going to go 120. We will get Mickey to recreate that video of him doing this Stavros video dance. yeah. If we get those, get those.
Jeremy, no, we fucking won't.
If that gets up to 120 likes, we would be on at Mickey to
likes, and I still won't be doing it. Oh, mate, that's what we should do as well. We should get Joe's phone and look on and see who's best dad he knows. Who's the most famous dad he knows.
Oh dear.
Just like to add, you've been brilliant giving up your time to present a half decent show. Well done. And on the note, why not wear the Teletubbies outfits? Okay.
Just to clarify
your name and make it German version.
Since for the offer of the you recreating the video, we did get 4 likes off the back of that. So the people want to see it, mate.
It's going up. The likes are going up. We're on 72 now. If you're watching on Twitter and you want to vote for a completely pointless reason of just liking this show on YouTube, do so, because I am not doing this dance. You've got more chance of seeing Stephen than you have me doing that dance. I like that comment. Andrew Roberts says, "I would say no one likes us, son, because we're the best."
Yeah, absolutely. Go. That's the PG. That's the most PG version you're going to get, I think.
Yeah. It was only a wee while ago that I realised that no one likes us. Is to the tune of Rod Stewart's "We Are Sailing." Yeah, originally, yeah. We are still handled by the government establishment and the FA. Yes. Evening, I like that. Evening, lads. Listening from. Oops, he's been grabbed. We're never going to know.
I'm sure Daniel, he commented a few times through the. Is he another one from New Zealand or America? I don't know.
Oh, he says, evening, lads, listening from the start of the show, not from anywhere. It was just from the start of the show. Look, there you go. So, yeah. Yeah, that was it. Yep. started around the time of the Panorama program. So yeah.
Here's a quiz. Here's a quick quiz question for you. Right, in all competitions, right, and this is for the chat. And don't Google it and cheat. I give a legitimate answer because it's boring if you just cheat.
Hey, look, at least our listeners can see. Look, see, Stephen is throwing Mickey under the bus. Don't worry.
How many times have you thrown me under the bus? It's about time that you cop a little bit of it. I get it every week, mate.
It is not a problem. Hasbulla, you do what you need to do.
There we go. There it is. The old classic. There it is.
Now watch the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there you go. If we get to 150 likes, will Stephen give us a fashion show wearing all of his different colour shorts he's worn this season?
I tell you what. I would agree to that if Mickey agrees to recreate the dance video. Can't say fairer than that. But anyway, back to my quiz question. And guys in the chat, you feel free to
be fair.
Feel free to answer this. In all competitions this year, how many players do you think have scored a goal for us, not including own goals? How many of our players have scored at least one goal? Give the chat. If you want to give an answer, chat. Have 2 minutes before we tell you what it is.
Good evening, Hannah Lucy, and we'll see you next season.
Leeds, for course. I tell you what, though. I tell you what. What I would say, that's better than Arthur.
Yeah,
but there's got to be an Arthur award as well. There has to be an Arthur award.
Arthur was probably the best fan when he's the Leeds fan to come on and for you, mate. So yeah. Wow.
So yeah, Mickey, how many players in all competitions? So the cup, well, we didn't score against Reading, but we played in the FA Cup. How many different goal scorers have we had this year?
Yeah, I'd say probably 8 or 9.
There's a few guesses. We'll give it another minute or so, and I'll let you know. I've got it on my screen as well. London Line, the In-Betweeners fashion show springs to mind. That's so funny. It's unbelievable. She's still there, the Leeds fan. You will do. We're hopeless in the playoffs. Look, I don't know.
I don't want to remind you too much,
no.
But it was Jimmy Abdul what made you cancel all your hotel.
Like, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, she's not an Arthur, so
no, she's not. And we're going to be nice to her, but we can't. You know, we will continue. But yeah, it's a shame that I don't have that video anymore.
So I'm going to go back to, so we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 guesses. Mickey, you said 9, didn't you? Players that have scored for us this season. Yeah, I saw that comment and I just...
Just for you listening on a podcast, Andrew Roberts has sent in a message to Stephen which said, I keep seeing now Stephen in his shorts recreating that Alan Partridge pole dancing sequence in I Am Alan Partridge.
No. So Archie's put the last guess in. I'm going to say none of you are correct. This season, we've actually had 17 different goal scorers. Can you believe that? 17. But that's part of the problem because we don't have a natural goal scorer that can get us the goals that the better clubs have. But yeah, 17 different goal scorers.
She looks like she's got a sense of humour as well, which means that she's probably not born in Leeds.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, where are we? We're yeah. Well, thanks very much for listening. If you're not already subscribed and liked, then please press those buttons while you're here, and you'll see that we're probably better than most of the lead shows that are out there. Because yeah, we
on the subject of.
So, yeah.
On the subject,
20 in, by the way.
I know, and we haven't really spoke much about the game yesterday. But there's not a lot to say. Casper scored. Matty saved a penalty.
Good
Tanganga
luck for
had a
Casper.
fight.
Casper needed that goal, though, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? It was. Great
I think so. Yeah, I think so. He took it well, and hopefully now he'll get a run of games next next season. On the subject of other clubs in the Championship, Leeds, Southampton, West Brom, and Norwich are the 4 teams in the playoffs. Who do you think will win the playoffs this season, Mickey?
I think Norwich.
Unfortunately, because of my mate who's a big Norwich fan, I actually think they're the favourites. They're in the better. I know they lost against Birmingham, but they're in better form than the others, and I can see them beating Leeds.
I was right. You see, I'm not from Leeds. See, I told you she went from Leeds. Right, put in the comments, everyone. You've got who is it? You've got Leeds, Norwich,
Southampton,
and
West Brom.
And West Brom. Who do you think is gonna make the playoffs? Because don't forget, the first game is going to be Leeds versus Norwich, isn't it?
Yeah, and also that it's going to be at Carrow Road, and Norwich's home form this season has been absolutely superb. That it's not easy for Leeds. It's really not easy for Leeds, and as much as it pains me to say it, I think Norwich will. I think they'll do well. Question
for you is this: right, all season, Leeds have been living on the we're getting promoted. Auto promoted. How hard is it as a player to suddenly go from we're going to be promoted to shit, we're in the playoffs now? Mentally, it's got to be so hard.
I think so.
West Brom for Jed.
I think Leeds possibly have towards the end of the season or after that QPR result, I think that they've realised now that they've missed that big chance to get promoted, and the playoffs has never usually really been kind to them. I think it's difficult. There hasn't been either. Usually you get a team that wins like 5 or 6 games and just sneak in. Norwich and West Brom have been in the playoffs for like the last 2 months, so that's not really happened. Southampton are so hit and miss; it's unbelievable. It's such an open. It's such an open race for promotion. I'm going to go out and say I think the playoff final will be Norwich v Southampton.
Yeah, I do. I think that as well.
And I think, again, for the fact that I'd make my mate's life a misery for a while, I'd want Southampton to do it. But I think Norwich will do it. I really do think they'll do it. They need to do it. They've got financial problems. I mean, a lot of clubs have financial problems, but yeah, I think Norwich are going to be the team to do it.
Old Steve Lloyd makes a good point there. Not many teams finishing third win the playoffs.
No, we actually broke that trend. We were one of it was about a real long spell when we finished third, and we beat Swindon under Kenny Jackett in the playoff final. That was the first time a team from third had been promoted by the playoffs for a long time in League One, and I think the Championship's the same as well. So very tricky, very, very tricky. Could be another trip to Ellen Road next year for us.
West Brom, Archie says West Brom. It would be funny to watch to see Leeds completely capitulate and the man-child Ryan Martins have another meltdown tantrum.
Alex has put up a comment there. Do loans carry over into the playoffs? I believe there's a pre-agreement with all clubs that if they make the playoffs in that specific season, that the loan will be extended. So anybody that's on loan at those clubs will still get to play for them, because there was a thing, wasn't there? When the rule changed, because when we had Jed Wallace on loan, there was talk that he wasn't going to be able to play in the final. So now it is put into contracts now that they are.
Bromley finished third, by the way.
They did, but their playoffs are different, aren't they? Because only one team gets promoted, and then like the second team gets a bye through. It's in the National League. It's nuts. Their rules in the playoffs are absolutely nuts.
I'm not sure how many teams finished third. Not winning the playoffs is a myth. Saints manager wouldn't shake Sarki's hand. So everyone needs to stop being so obsessed with us. You lot seem to be so obsessed with us, to be fair. It's not us, me, but listen, we just like having teams to laugh at. And now it's Leeds and Birmingham.
Oh,
so yeah, oh God, Steve Bevan now. Terry, man.
Jesus.
Lead under too much pressure. So yeah, just remember, keep your comments pleasant. It's not Arthur, so we don't have to abuse him. Right, we did have an agenda for tonight. We did put that out on Bunches, and I did put it on Bunches for people, and we will do that every week. So if you're not really on there, then do join. Right, we've done yesterday's game. 2 bits we haven't done yet. We've done briefly about Webster gets Bromley promoted. We've done that, and that's done. We've done the second best team in the league, only beaten by Ipswich. We've done that. Let's all laugh at Rowett and Birmingham. Ha 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 ha. We've done it again. So we keep doing it. But Alex Mitchell, is he coming back or is he not? Do you think he's going to stay at Lincoln or go elsewhere, or do you think he is coming back? Get your comment in. Do you reckon, will he stay or will he go? Put in either stay or will he go? And come on, we're on 78 likes. Can we not hit 100? Please keep pressing. Come on.
I'll answer that in 2 parts. Do I think Alex Mitchell should be a Millwall player next?
Sorry, Jonathan. That is a bit harsh.
Oh my God.
That's really harsh, mate. If you're listening on a podcast,
Move on.
You're gonna have to watch it on the thingy, mate. On the what do you call it? So yeah, that's a bit harsh. But she does call you a nice fella. So
Alex Mitchell, do I think he should be at the club next season? Yes, I think he 100% deserves an opportunity. Do I think he will be? I actually think he's reached a point in his career where he's fed up of being loaned out here, there, and everywhere. He's played in 4 or 5 different clubs. And I think he's either got to say to the club, and sometimes it's on the player as well, am I going to play at this football club? And if it's a no, right, sell him to someone that wants him. If it's a yes, right, then he's going to be in the first team. But I think I think he's going to be sold. And I'd be amazed if I think Lincoln, he's going to go back there. He loves it there. They loved him. So I can't see him staying personally. You, Mickey?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments. I think I sort of agree with sort of Dan to a degree. I think he's probably a centre back because he's a big lump. I think he's probably made there. But I think, if we don't give him a chance now, he's had 4 loans out. And if we don't give him the chance, then I think he's totally within his rights to go, I'm off. I want regular football and I don't want to be much about, which I think is fair enough. So yeah, I mean, grass. What's that? Daily Mills just put no, grass is greener. Look at Tapalov, Matt Smith, and I see. He's probably talking about something else about turnaround. So yeah, I think I would probably keep him and give him an opportunity, but it's whether or not he's going to get regular football. Will he get regular football? Maybe if we don't sign Tanganga, but I don't know.
We're gonna have to sign a centre half because Tanganga's going to go back. If Mitchell's gonna leave, then they're going to have to buy a centre back. It literally is just a case of have the discussion. Is he going to play? Yes, right. He's in the first team. If he's not going to play, sack him off.
Yeah, I agree. Sell him and see what you can get for him. And sell him with a clause, give him with an admin clause and all that.
And I said it on Friday, and it's again, financial fair play. Alex Mitchell is a product of our academy. If we make any money on him, regardless of whether it's a big fee or not, it will help balance the books. It will look better favourably with financial fair play. So if you're going to sell him, just do it now and get it done, to be honest.
That's not nice, Dan Riggs. And I can ban you, Dan Riggs. Remember that. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen, for those of the podcast, is Hannah's Mickey's burner with him wearing one of his wigs by any chance? Thanks for that, mate. Dan Riggs, yeah, thanks for that, mate. So yeah. I'll let you make that comment, mate.
To be clear, sack him off. Just to be clear. Richard Gardner there, though.
Will obviously know what that comment was about.
I think Millwall will make a mistake letting him go. It could well be. Players. It doesn't always work out here. Move on. I'm not saying he's gonna fall into the Eze. Being sold for big money, but clearly he's made it. He's earned his stripes working up the chain. He's played in Scotland. He's played in the National League, League Two, League One, and he's been very, very good. So, how do you know if a player is good enough if you don't give him a chance? But it's also on the player. The player may have just gone, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to find a permanent home, and that's just how it is. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's it. So the other one then is Preseason games. There's a very strong rumour that we're going to Spain for pre-season, which will probably be to Brian Horn's place. So, what teams would you like us to see? Who would you like us to play against?
I don't want us to say. I'll
I don't think we'll have Gillingham.
Gillingham, Dartford, Bromley. We always get the same old. Colchester's another one.
I wonder if we get Portsmouth.
With the right, like the supporters and stuff, I'm not sure, but I actually think, and I know we've done this for a long time now because we've always had this very similar friendlies. I don't think we play teams that are good enough in terms of getting our players ready to play in the Championship level. We just don't seem to be able to get those friendlies. I know there's cost, I know there's policing and other stuff that goes into it, but the standard's got to be better. That it's got to be. I'll tell you one club I think's nailed on that we are gonna play. I reckon there'll be something in the pipeline to play Cambridge. The deal that was made for Harris to get Harris as manager, I reckon they'll be one of the teams. But again, I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not. Someone's put in there Real Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, and Atletico Madrid would be nice out in Spain, but. Go and try and get some of the Europe. We got Fortuna Sittard. We had Hammarby as well. Try and get some other teams like that are going to be that will be looking for friendlies anyway, and try to play that different level of football.
So do you reckon then, as Craig says, we get Bromley, Welling, and Sutton?
Again,
who do you reckon we're going to play in Spain? Do you reckon that? Well, that would be. I don't know. That would be. Well, we were meant to play Oxford last year, but we didn't.
We've had links with. We played Raul Vallecano, didn't we? It was a testimonial. We played them previously as well. So maybe them again. But it would just be nice to face a decent caliber of opposition. They always do they play like Palace behind closed doors, didn't they? And you get those kind of games, or Arsenal they've done a couple of times. But it'd be nice to have a couple of decent friendlies to get to. But it's not going to happen. We're going to get the same old, I think. And
Here you go. Look, we're playing the Millwall podcast Select 11. Or Stephen Bevans has come up with a better one. It's a Joe Edwards All-Star 11.
And someone put a comment in there as well that Wrexham
playing in the USA.
They've got I get that, but it's their owners. I'm not being funny. They want to build like a 55,000 seater stadium, and it's all because of the owners. No other club in the football league will get anything quite like what they do.
Could they go up this season? Next season, could they go up and do? And also
they really could.
Because also reading that, was it you sent that stat what appeared earlier that Ipswich going up, and it should, in theory, if it follows the route or whatever, there's a strong chance Pompey could be next.
And I mean,
make the Prem.
The thing is with Wrexham, with them, they have the financial backing, they have the support, they've got sponsors on board, they've got that.
Yeah, but they've got to follow. The problem is now they're getting higher up, they have to stick to the FFP, and the lower leagues and whatnot. It's easy to throw money at the club, but now you've got to start behaving, and it don't matter.
Oh yeah,
but it's all about revenue and this, that, and the other. So to me, I think they're gonna have to end up coming in with the rest of them. So yeah, I mean,
how much money? How much money do you reckon they get off of Disney though? How much money do you reckon they get off Disney?
It doesn't matter though. FFP isn't about the sponsorship coming in. It's all about income.
Of course, surely it's about revenue. Yeah, but surely revenue count, or any income that the clubs receive. Would count.
I don't know.
It has to. It has to.
I don't know how that Disney option would count. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm looking to hopefully get what's his name on. So Kieran on, and yeah, that would be a good question to ask him. So LLB, who's LLB?
The Lion Blue. They're having a conversation between each other.
Oh, okay.
They're fed up with us now. That's what's happening.
Hang on. They ain't got 11 presenters. Best is 5 aside.
If someone said that Millwall podcast's 11. I think the commercial side of Wrexham, as Craig put in there, the commercial side of the club is exceptional for their level. It is, but it's because of their owners. Their owners are driving that. And why wouldn't they? Any football club would be in their position if they could. I agree that the financial fair play does come into it, but that must factor in. That's why. I mean, some of their sponsors are way above the level of League Two and stuff. So. I think there's a real good chance. I think they're getting to the point where I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park and go straight for, automatics. But they will. I think they will get as high as the sky's the limit. Whether they'll make the Premier League, within the next 5-10 years will remain to be seen. But their story is going. I don't necessarily like the fact that a football club's been turned into a circus with Disney and getting all these celebrities. But look, if they make it, they make it, and so be it. And I also Dan Riggs, I wouldn't take that Paul Mullin. He will be found out sooner rather than later. Very good in the National League, very good in League Two. But let's just see how he gets on this year. And there's already talk that they want Jamie Vardy.
Oh, mate, someone put on there that it is Jamie Vardy direction. Do you know what? If he scores 30 goals this season, mate, you're going to look very fucking... That comment's going to come back and bite you on the arse, isn't it?
What? About Mullin?
Yeah.
He's going to get to a point where he's not going to score the amount of... It's going to happen. It will. I don't think he'll be as successful as he's been over the last 2 seasons, personally. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Le Lion, Blur, and Mark are still having conversation. What are you talking about? Leeds are a circle. Fully agree. Clip it. Yeah.
Tony,
right.
What I'm saying. Sorry, just to respond. What I'm saying with that in the National League, they had an agreement that Phil Parkinson would have like a camera on his shirt, so they could for the documentary that went on Disney and stuff like that. That's not football. When they got into the Football League, it had to change. There had to be other rules and regulations. They still get an insight, but that kind of stuff, documentaries in football are coming the norm and stuff like that. And I just think it turns into a little bit of a media circus, personally. But again, that's just
Dan Riggs reckons Mullin's going to get 20 goals next season.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Okay. So if he gets 19 or below, then Dan Riggs has got to do a forfeit. And if he gets 21 or above, you've got to do a forfeit.
I'll tell you what, me and Dan will sort that out, and then on the by next week's lives, we'll put something in place for that if Dan agrees to it.
There we go. Right, we're pretty much done. I think we've been going an hour and 40 minutes longer than what we thought. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all your support this season. But don't stop watching us yet. We are back next weekend with the end of season awards. as such. We'll have to figure out what's what on them, and we'll put some stuff out on socials and that sort of stuff in the week. If you're not already following us, then follow us on Bunches. And why not? I don't think we've got. There was a link in last week's show. I'll put a link in the description once it's finished. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Stephen, you got anything you want to say?
No, just I mean, we've said it last couple of shows. The support that we have on the channel this season has grown absolutely massively. I've said it a few times on here. The first time me and Mickey did a live together, we had like 15 people watch us, and the growth that it's in, the support that we get. People coming up to us at games and stuff, talking about it. It's really, really appreciated. We love doing it, and that's why we carry on. And next season's going to be bigger and better. All the panel, Joe, Chris, Ben, Omar, Dan, Jay, us two, we all appreciate the support you guys give us very, very much. So, and again, I'm going to push this the last couple of weeks. Charity game at the Den, 17th of May. I am playing in the away team. So if you fancy coming and watching on a Friday night, Friday the 17th of May. And that's it from me. Mickey's muted at the moment for the benefit of the chat. I can't hear him at the moment, and he's talking. So
Dan Riggs. Oh, sorry, I was talking to someone else. Dan Riggs, don't worry, mate. I can't do it from the new garden shed, mate, because you've changed the padlock. So yeah, it's caught me out, I'm afraid, mate. So yeah. Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will see you next Friday night.
1 second. Alex has just put a comment. Any plans for the Euros content? Yes. We will be doing some content for the Euros, mainly for the England games, because that's all anyone's really interested in anyway. But we will do. Yeah, but for the England games, really, when it's
going to go from that Millwall podcast to that England podcast. So yeah, pretty much the same thing. Friday night, Sunday nights, and we talk about, instead of talking about Millwall, it'll be about Euros. So so we will be there over the summer, and we'll probably do some shows in the week with the other guys and all that lot.
Yep.
So that's it. We are on 78 likes. We didn't make 100, but we'll probably make 100 when people watch it back, because they care, unlike you lot what don't seem to care about us and putting it to.
And they want to see they want to see you do the dance.
So yeah, that's it. That is it. All finished for another week. We'll be back next Friday even. We might have a pre-show. We don't know, maybe to pre-up the weekend shows. Chat from Chaps will be having a round table with a few people who have got in touch with him. He will be sorting that out, and we'll let you know when that goes. But yeah, that's it. Thanks very much. See you again.
Language you don't usually hear on television. Millwall in London's Docklands.
Lockdown at the tent. In Millwall, it ain't no breeze, but we're all standing strong behind our team. No one likes us, but we don't care. We're that Millwall podcast. Loud every Friday night right here. Legends like Jimmy Abdul, Teddy Sheringham, and the kitchen of two. Super Neil Harris, a fucking legend too. Through the good times and when there's life, we'll support the Lions all our life. This ain't those baseball fancy team. This is fucking Millwall.